What's up with it, y'all? It's JD. I'm back with another quick video. Today's video I want to talk about our mindset and how we can, help ourselves start thinking bigger and start thinking outside of the box a little bit more. And for myself personally, I'm here with my boy G right now. I'm gonna get his take on this subject as well. But for myself personally, I think that one of the things that limits my thinking and limits my mind from expanding is having too many small problems. And this could be financial problems, it could be, dietary problems, it could be workout problems, it could be anything, logistics, whatever it is. But I think we live, or at least myself, I'm speaking for myself, but I think a lot of people can relate to this, is that we live in excess. So say for instance, we have 20 pairs of shoes, we have 5 different revolving memberships that we have, maybe Hulu, Netflix, all these different things. We have all these expenses, cars. We're living too much in excess. And by having all this excess, it's forcing us to go to these 9-to-5 jobs. It's forcing us to make decisions that we wouldn't necessarily make. It's putting a lot more stuff on our mind than we even need to have on our mind. We're living in like a mental excess, financial excess. It could be a dietary excess. It could be that we're going out to eat all the time instead of, simplifying our meals. Our meals have all, I think about this all the time when it comes down to the diet as well. Our body is just kind of like a computer, a supercomputer. Our brain is a supercomputer. So when we're putting in foods in our body that have 50 different ingredients, it's taking our body more time to process all these different things and figure out what's inside of these ingredients. So that's just one thing that I have in terms of some of the things that kind of are holding me back from thinking bigger, because a lot of times I can kind of get fixated on, I just need to make this money that I can pay rent. I need to make this money so I can have enough money to take this trip. I need to make this amount of money so I can do this or do that, instead of the mindset of what's going to create something big for me. What's really gonna be the next big idea that I can have that can create a big community, that can create big revenue for me, that can help me live the lifestyle that I really want to live. I'm gonna get another set in and I'm gonna get G's take on this too.
Okay.
G, what would you say for you in particular? What would you say is something that's kind of holding you back from?
I would say definitely everything that you just mentioned, but I just think I don't have enough time to think. I think that there's so much going on in life, like you say, whether it's eating, whether it's bills, if you have a significant other, some of you might have kids, anything, it doesn't matter. The family thing is okay, but I feel like there's so many other things in my life that I constantly have to think about that I don't really have time to think about, the extra things, the big thoughts I have. I don't have time to dream, I feel like a lot of times. So I feel like you definitely have to make time for that. Man, it's just a journey figuring that out. I haven't figured it out precisely. I know there are some things I can do to kind of do like John says, just to simplify my life. And I feel like if I am able to simplify my life, I can spend extra time and just, figuring some things out for myself. But there was another thing that I wanted to mention too regarding this. I can't think of what it is at the moment, but
take your time with it. Get a set in while you think about it.
Yeah, let me get a set in real quick. Exactly what I needed. It came back to mind. So the second thing is just the people you're around. I feel like if you're around people who don't think big, who are kind of just happy with life as it is, whatever that might be, I feel like that could kind of put your thoughts in a rut too. And everybody's heard the saying, you're the average of the 5 people you spend the most time. You're the average of the 5 people that you spend the most time around, and that's true. So I feel like if you spend time around people who are thinking bigger, who have a, you know those people, you know, who's always wanting more, the dreamers, the go-getters. If you spend your time around those type of people, the creatives, exactly, it's gonna rub off on you. But I think those are 2 main things.
I want to mention too, as well. So one thing I was just thinking about is, how do we get into a creative state? What are some of the things that put you into a creative mindset? What are some of the things that kind of put you in more of a meditative mindset? Because a lot of times I think when people thinking big, they always think financially. What's going to make me a bunch of money? What's going to, you know, increase my lifestyle? What's going to do that? You know, a lot of times I think we can have that monetary attachment to it, but really what thinking big is thinking outside of the box, thinking creative. So I think that letting ourselves get creative and being around people who kind of influence us to be more creative is even better than influencing. I think that getting around people who influence us to be more creative and kind of let us open up our mind and be a little bit less judgmental is better than being around a lot of people who are just go-getters. Because you got a lot of people who are just go-getters, but they're still playing within the lines, you know what I mean? But if you are around some people who, they might not even be go-getters, but they're just people who think outside the lines, and then maybe you attach your business acumen to it, or maybe you attach your skill set to it, whether that's creating YouTube content, whether it's creating film content, whether it's trading cryptocurrencies, whatever it may be, you can add your flavor to it, and then you guys can kind of mix and match ideas, and your ideas are going to be a little bit creative. But I think whatever it is that you do that gets you into that flow state, that's an important one. I'm about to get another 7. Another thing is like, I think another misconception people can have in terms of having big ideas is that we want to use other people's ideas. So a lot of people think the pathway to enlightenment or the pathway to success is through reading books, is from learning from others. When in all actuality, I think a lot of times these things can be limiters to us in a certain aspect, because we might read a book and then we might take somebody else's word as gospel, when if we would have stumbled upon that same idea ourselves, we would have thought about it in a different way. But now that we have this kind of concrete way of looking at it from that book or from that YouTube video that you might have watched, or maybe from some program that you might have paid for, now your mind is kind of like stuck in that box. So I think that's another thing, is that kind of trying to cultivate your own ideas, get into a meditative state, get into a state of solitude, put yourself in unfamiliar and uncomfortable circumstances. I think these are all things that can kind of help when it comes down to thinking big. Me and one of my friends was just texting back and forth a little bit earlier, and he was asking me if I had any good money-making ideas recently, and I told him no. And the reason, this is actually what inspired this video, to be honest with you. And I think the reason why is because I haven't had enough solitude. I haven't had enough time to meditate. I haven't had enough time to kind of get away from everybody else's ideas and everybody else's opinions. Anyways, I'm gonna get one more set of these in, and I'm gonna get a camera back to G. Maybe he got one more, a little bit something to add to it. You got anything else to say about this? Any other ideas?
I feel like you pretty much hit it on the head. I feel like I said, the people you're around, you had mentioned something. What was one of the points you had mentioned?
Kind of just getting into
you said it was solitude.
A meditative flow state.
It was Solitude. That's the one that kind of stuck with me. I can't preach that enough, even for myself. Like, I find myself struggling to find solitude sometimes, and that's a problem. You know, I feel like that's something I have to figure out, because if I don't figure that out, I feel like I'm limiting myself in terms of what I could do, because like I mentioned before, that's one of the things I learned about myself from prison, is that, and that's the reason why I was able to grow so much while I was in prison, because even though you actually don't have any privacy in prison, but not being around any familiar faces, any familiar people, and it does create like a little bit of solitude in a different way. But I had enough time by myself because I didn't hang around a lot of people, so I was able to spend a lot of time thinking. Now, that was in a not so great environment, but I want that now in my regular life. I realized that that's something I need to have. I feel like I can grow in that. I did some of my best thinking. The only problem was that I was doing some of my best thinking in a toxic environment, so now I want to see what that's like in the real world. So, man, I would say like
trying to find a balance.
Yeah,
because you had that toxic environment that was super uncomfortable, that forced you to think a little bit outside the box. But now that you're in a comfortable situation, now you're a little bit too comfortable.
Yeah.
And now you're having a hard time because you don't necessarily have that, you know, that pit bull backed into a corner mentality going through your head.
Exactly. And that's the struggle right now, and that's actually the goal too. It's the struggle, it's the goal. So my whole situation now is to, like I said, traveling is a goal I have, but I don't really want to travel just to travel. I want to travel so I could be alone. You know, I want to have a good time with my significant other as well as my friends, but I also want to get just as much traveling in by myself, because I understand that that'll be a situation where I don't have to think about work. I don't have to think about anybody else. I'm in an unfamiliar place, an unfamiliar environment, and I've already realized that that's when I do, you know, my best thinking. So now I just imagine what that will be like, you know what I mean, doing it where the world is my playground. So solitude, the people you're around, and also just giving yourself time to think, which goes hand in hand with solitude.
And you guys, I'm gonna get on the camera too, but you guys, this is not me and G telling you guys what to do to think big. This is just a conversation that we're starting. So this is a conversation. I hope you guys want to chime in and add some things into the comment section, because I'm sure that me and G could both learn from it. You know what I mean? This is a conversation. My channel, I'm trying to build a community. This isn't anything where I'm just the only person teaching. This is a teacher, student, teacher type of situation where everybody can chime in, everybody can, you know, share with others, and we can all learn from one another. So thinking outside the box and thinking big is something that I've been struggling with lately. And, you know, it's something that, you know, I'm trying to work on. So I'm trying to come up with ideas and try to come up with, you know, different situations that can put my mind in a place where I can start thinking big and thinking outside of the box. Anything else, G?
That's pretty much it.
All right, you guys, we hope everybody's having a great day out there. You guys can always reach out on my website, book a free consultation. That's Travelsthenix.com. You can hit G up on Instagram. I'll leave his link in the description. Make sure that you guys subscribe to G's YouTube channel as well. That link's also going to be in the description. We'll holler at you guys later. Peace.